Yo,
Alrighty. Are we good?
We're good, and we should be streaming.
Okay.
yeah.
While we are waiting for everyone to settle in, I just want to thank everybody for joining. We're going to give just a couple of more minutes for others to join. While you wait, though, you can go ahead and scan that QR code that you see on your screen. That is your all access pass to everything BITA. So, our Discord, our LinkedIn, YouTube, TikTok, Twitch, you name it, it's all there.
Okay.
Gonna wait till about 6:35 to kick things off. Alrighty, it's almost about that time. We will get kicked off here in another minute. Alrighty, greetings everyone. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. Welcome to Black and Text Academy's Ask Me Anything series. I'm Marie Sutton. I am one of the admins here at BITA, and I am so excited to have you all here with us tonight. Get ready for some impactful information and a good time. So, this space is all about connection, learning, and community. So, let's start by taking this time to be interactive. If you haven't already, drop your LinkedIn profile in the chat. We love to connect with you guys, but not just with us, with everyone in the room. So, you can definitely utilize the chat to drop your LinkedIn profiles. You never know who you might meet and could be a part of your next big opportunity. Throughout tonight's session, we will be sharing links to our Discord, our LinkedIn page, YouTube, TikTok, Twitch, and our website so that you can stay connected with us long after this event ends. Or you can simply scan the QR code and find it all on our link tree. We will also make sure to share our panelists' LinkedIn profiles so that you can continue the conversation with them too. Now, here's how tonight will flow. We will kick things off with our amazing panel sharing their industry insights, their stories, and their advice. Afterwards, we'll open the floor for your questions. So if something sparks your curiosity, jot it down or drop it in the chat as we go. With that being said, it is now my pleasure to introduce our moderator for the evening, Corrine Smith. Corrine is a program manager based out of Phoenix with extensive experience in higher education, where she's led initiatives that drive student engagement, equity, and organizational effectiveness. She holds both a bachelor's and a master's degree from the University of Florida and is currently pursuing her Doctor of Education at UCLA. Her research focuses on the lived experiences of Black female software engineers through the lens of community cultural wealth. And she's passionate about the digital transformation and leveraging AI to build innovative, inclusive solutions in tech in her future role as an AI solutions architect. So we're thrilled to have her guiding tonight's session. With that, I will now turn it over to Kareem. The floor is yours.
Thank you so much, Marie. That was a very generous introduction. Good evening, good afternoon, everyone. As you heard, my name is Corinne. I will be leading the discussion tonight with our amazing panelists, and I'm excited to also get to know more about their experiences, how they navigate their careers, and also just some of the unspoken rules about working in tech. So starting off, I'd like to first introduce Ankh. Ankh has 20 years working in corporate IT, mostly with Fortune 1000 companies such as Dell. His background is mostly software engineering and as a software architect. He is self-taught, and some of his hobbies include karaoke, gaming, and hiking. Next on our panel, I'd like to introduce Lee. He is a senior cybersecurity engineer with specialization in security automation, secure design in the Department of Defense enterprise environments. He also brings experience in security operations, pen testing, fortifying defenses for several large organizations. Next, I'd like to introduce Jay, or Jarrell. Jarrell is a self-taught IT professional with over 2 years of experience, who initially enrolled in college, but ultimately decided to learn through various external training programs and hands-on applications. What drew him to this field is the opportunity to make innovation both his daily work and long-term career focus. He's currently pursuing his next role as a cloud support engineer while upskilling in Gen AI and DevOps. And then with our final panelist, we will have Jaleel, who's been working in IT intermittently since 2016 and has focused extensively on the field for the past 2 years. He currently serves as a systems administrator specializing in endpoint deployment, automation, and security. Now, I have a few questions prepared for our panelists. We'll see how the evening goes and then open it up to the audience for questions. So starting out, I just like to check in with our panel, like, how's everyone feeling? Like, what's the mood for tonight?
I'm good. I'm hanging out.
Great. Excited to be here.
Thank you all so much for being here.
Yeah.
So for our first question, I'd like to know, what was that first moment or experience that made you say, I want to work in tech? And if not a what, who was your inspiration? Let's start off with Ankh.
For me, it would go back to when I was a kid. Home computers weren't really a big thing at the time. Just to age myself a bit. But yeah, in the 80s, not every home had a computer, but my parents did get me one for Christmas or maybe a birthday, I believe. So yeah, there wasn't a whole lot to do. There wasn't really an internet. There were bulletin boards. So yeah, I ended up actually, for whatever reason, my middle school actually had computer programming books, which now that I think about it is kind of weird for a middle school in the 80s. Whatever. So yeah, rented all the books I could find about computers and systems administration, just seeing what I could do with it. Got onto a couple of bulletin boards, but that wasn't really my thing. So I just ended up writing a bunch of programs, just random stuff to do, just weird random things. Text to speech, I guess, kind of was just coming out at the time. So that was kind of interesting toy to play with. And that ended up sparking a passion for artificial intelligence, which kind of drove a lot of my later work towards computer science and programming. So yeah, that was kind of my spark. Just got a computer and wanted to see what I could do with it.
Nice. So it sounds like you were very hands-on, and that curiosity then led to now your current career path.
Oh yeah, yeah, it definitely was. I knew from the from those first few programs, that's what I would have loved to do for the rest of my life. So.
I have more questions about that, but I like to jump to Lee. to understand like who was your inspiration or what was your inspiration for pursuing tech?
Like everybody else, right? It's the money, right? It's the money you get, everybody talking about it, social media influencers love to bring up how much money you can make in tech by, just not having no degree or whatever else. But honestly, no, it was something I just kind of shifted towards when I separated from the military, which it really wasn't trying to get into tech. It's something that just kind of found me. I do have a friend who kept on recommending me to do the cybersecurity career path, but had this boot camp that reached out to me. Just I don't know how they got my information, saying, "Hey, would you be interested?" And at that point in time, I wasn't doing anything. Being freshly separated, I was just really just gonna do like truck driving or something else. But I said, sure, why not? And I just started that and got into it and found that I liked it because I like a challenge with things. So it's a challenging type of career field where you can explore as much as your mind will allow you to. So I think that's what really got me to like it and stay in it. And of course, along the way, you make more money as you get more experience. And of course, now we see a big shift in other people trying to get into it. So that's another thing that we're shifting me towards. It is seeing other people trying to do the same thing. And it's sort of like a connector, I would say, to bring people together, have interesting conversations outside of, what the latest thing that Sexy Red done did on Twitter or something, it's something else to talk about. So, yeah, that's basically it for me as far as, why and how I got into it.
Nice. And which branch of the military were you in?
Did Air Force, did some administrative and low-level IT work, which is why I initially hated IT, which is funny that I said I wasn't going to do IT because the military really made me dislike it from all the bureaucracy and how dumb things could be. But I guess I gave it another shot, and now here we are. So
Look at that. Opportunities can definitely change your trajectory. And for you, Jen, what was your inspiration for tech?
Is it?
Jay or Jarrell?
Oh, okay. Jay. Okay. Basically, it's the only thing I've been interested in since I was a kid. Uh, Grew up with a desktop computer, an old compact, uh, just gaming and like breaking stuff and fixing it, like VCRs and things of that nature. Started fixing phones real early and stuff like that. But yeah, I don't think I've ever wanted to do anything else.
And what were some of the earliest programs that you used when you like got access to your first computer?
Oh, Paint. I think what was it? Paint, like Paint, and like nothing too intense. But you don't remember those CDs
Oh
with the
yeah,
games, like with the
Math
educational
Blaster.
games, and that was mostly it. Getting on AOL, and so like right when stuff started becoming really accessible.
That's funny. It brings back my own memories. My uncle was the first person who bought my computer, and I got Mavis Beacon, learned how to type with her, and Math Blaster. So I didn't realize like how having something within the home also made a difference. I could learn on my own and understand some of the programs. So it's
Yeah.
interesting you shared that. Thank you. And I like to go back to Unc, like as the veteran of the panel, like after high school, since we know a little bit about your software engineering and as a software architect, can you dive more into your tech stack and the programming languages that you learned?
Oh, good question. So back when I first had that computer as a kid, I started with GW Basic 3.0 back then. and then some DOS command line stuff, making little scripts. Um, af- so I had most of my young adult life planned out around the time I was 13 or 14, right before high school. Um, had all my high school classes planned, figured which colleges I'd probably aim for. So after high school, I went to Georgia Tech. Oh, well, actually, in high school, I did take AP
AP classes.
Computer Science, the language, but I basically learned enough to get through the class because um, this was my last year of high school, and I had an early class that started before the normal classes, just because of the way the schedules worked out. And my goal was to have that early class and then fill it up till lunch and then leave. Fortunately, the AP Computer Science class was only held at like 2:30 in the afternoon. So I think I had like 90 absences from that class. So I don't think I passed the class, but I mean I aced the AP exam. So I think she just marked me as withdrawn from the class or something.
As long as you showed up for the test.
Yeah, he passed the test, so whatever. So I had Basic and Pascal by end of high school, and then Java had just come out in sometime around 95, 96. I went to Georgia Tech and picked up Java. Couldn't actually afford to finish college, so ended up in college. That was the one fatal flaw in my little 6-year plan there. I assumed financial aid would just cover all of college, but yeah, apparently not. They tried to get my parents to have to pay all this money every quarter. So, anyways, so dropped out of Georgia Tech. I did pick up a few classes at a local technical college. I think the languages they were using there was C++. So I'd already done C++ stuff on my own by then. But yeah, so by the time I was around 20-ish, had Pascal. Actually, the technical college also did COBOL because one of the largest employers in the city is an insurance company. And for whatever reason, insurance companies tend to be locked into super old stuff like COBOL. So yeah, had some COBOL, Fortran, Java, and Pascal by then.
Thank you for sharing. And for you, Lee, what would you say was one of the things that surprised you once you started working in tech in comparison to your early hands-on experience?
Surprising.
Yes.
Um,
Surprising as far as like differences in your expectations.
really, I was just surprised that a lot of these places I've been, a lot of people where I thought that I was lacking in knowledge had less than I had with more so-called years of experience. So that really caught me off guard. So it got me in the mindset early of figuring out things and making it work on my own rather than having that, where people like to have trainers and guides and shadowers and all those different programs to learn more from. I got myself always learning outside of the organizations I was at to actually bring value, I would say, to the roles I was in. Other than that, I mean, it's good, and in a sense of if you are a person who can learn on their own. I know it's people who prefer to have like guides and things like SOPs, but it's 2025, and there's a lot of organizations that don't have any documentation for things and how that, that 1, 2, 3 ABC, how to do things settled in. So it's a lot of figuring out as you go and documenting later. So that's a thing. So other than that, I mean, I think it's just the typical things that make K off guard, right? Just tech is ever changing, so
Mhm.
new technology come around, and like we got AI now trying to throw it into everything. So those are the things that are catch off guard more than anything else. Yeah, I think that's really it for me.
And would you say that because you came from the military, that your understanding of expectations and working with colleagues was an asset in comparison to someone going directly into tech after high school or even college with no professional experience?
Yeah, I mean, I guess they really teach you how to have. I know a lot of they like to say the Gen Z is is all over TikTok, right? How how Gen Z adapts into the corporate workspace, or they may not adapt with email etiquettes and things like that. So yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, I guess you definitely learn those types of things in the military. They teach you how to properly address people, how to properly write emails and structure things like that, right? So I guess that is a good thing.
Mhm.
I thought it was common sense, but apparently not anymore. So yeah,
No, definitely. I feel social media, just as with like other cultures and languages, it changes from generation to generation in terms of like understanding expectation. So I'm a strong proponent of onboarding coming from higher ed. I like to make it explicitly clear, especially for a neurodivergent audience. So if anything, in any company I work for, I'll probably be that person creating the onboarding documentation.
yeah, you got the Gen Z people. Some of them, I know they said that in the email they wrote. Somebody said, "No kizzy, man. This is this, this is hard for me to understand." And I'm like, wow, like that's actual email that they sent to their manager. Like, actually saying, "No kizzy." Okay, that's the thing. I'm behind. It's yeah, whatever. I don't know.
Differences that we navigate. And for you, Jarrell, what were the surprises once you started your first IT role? Or Jay?
Okay. I'm sorry, one more time.
What were the early surprises for you once you started your first IT role? Surprises in terms of working with colleagues, the pace of the organization, or the technologies that you were working with?
I think my biggest surprise was how little people actually do for work.
Tell me more.
I think I was working at it was basically an internship at MD Anderson like almost 10 years ago. But meeting all the engineers and other interns, and like I like to imagine work as, you're working, like you're doing stuff, but a lot of them don't. They just hang out. Like usually it's all scripted or automated, so they just come to work to show
Mm.
their face. And that's where I'm trying to get.
Whatever makes your job easier.
Pretty much.
Nice. And early on, were there any challenges for you that you feel comfortable sharing and how you worked through that challenge?
It was more so just actually getting an IT job.
Hmm.
But I got certified, well, half certified in A+ because those tests cost a lot. It's like I've always had one or the other, but never both at the same time. So I knew the stuff. I can interview, I can talk about it, but it was like it's not there. But it worked out. So
Once you entered certification.
yes.
Yeah. And that leads me to my next question for you, Ankh. because you started like hands-on so early, like at what point in your career did you feel that you earned your credibility? Was it earning your certificates or just in terms of your knowledge of your tech stack? Like, when did you get like that sign from employers or even like recruiters that, look, this is the person we want?
Okay. I guess this actually connects to the previous question as well, as far as surprises in early in IT. So when I knew I made it was, so I after college, or my attempt at college, I worked a bunch of menial jobs for a few years, construction, delivery. Always still brushing up on my IT skills, learning new programming languages, all of that. I'd actually started volunteering. I started playing this online game. Then I actually started volunteering with some of the coding, and then the owner of the website, he had another website, a porn website or whatever. He wanted to put his focus into that, so we had a conversation. He was like, "Hey, do you want to take over as the lead on the gaming website?" I was like, "Sure." So ran that for a couple of years. Figured out ways to monetize it and such. Everything was free.
That's right.
Figured out a couple of different ways to monetize it. Put in place an admin structure. Everything was kind of disorganized before. Brought some organization, added some new features. Did all this over the space of 2 years. Dealt with some deadlocking issues that the game had during high scale time periods. So yeah, I put in a lot of improvements, but I learned a lot as well. It gave me the real world experience, not just theoretical knowledge from just reading books, but real world experience. I had to deal with hackers. They'd found ways to carry out injection attacks, and I had to track that down, build in protections against those things. So I started gaining actual real world experience about scaling and what you need to support high levels of player activity. And the experience, I wasn't making much money for the website, so I was still working my menial jobs. I think I was working for Medicare at the time. But I was gaining actual real world experience, and that gave me the ability to speak competently during interviews once I started interviewing for positions. So I got my first corporate job around 2008, after working the gaming website for a few years. So it was a decent job, especially first corporate job. I think I was making like $70,000 at the time, so it wasn't bad. But I remember the hiring manager was out one day, and there was a small office. There were like 5 people working in the office, including the hiring manager. And he was out sick one day, and they were all just staring at me all morning. I was like, what's going on? So I think I'd been there for about 3 weeks to a month or so at this point. They were like, "Mike, you must be really good at your job, man." That guy is so racist that we never thought he would hire you.
Oh,
He used to talk so much shit about black people before you started here. It was like every day we would hear some crazy stuff. So
we're 3 months in.
yeah, so the office had just opened probably about 4 or 5 months before I got there. So yeah, but they weren't Southerners. Growing up in the South, I was used to a lot of racism, and then living on military bases, a lot of the white kids felt pretty free to be racist as hell, violently racist at times. I guess they felt like they were outside the laws. I don't know what motivated it, but anyway, so super used to dealing with racism at this point in my life. But yeah, to know that a super racist ass dude had to hire me because I had the skills that he needed. That moment, I knew it was like, man, this is definitely where I need to be. I made it. I'm good.
Thank you for sharing that. That's that's an interesting story. Is like, you were that good, but again, there's no excuse for the racism. But it's also the very much reality that we face, unfortunately, here in the U.S. And I grew up in Florida, so I know.
So yeah, the big takeaway from me from that was if your skills are there, you're at a good level with your skills, you're proficient with hot technologies, hot tools. Racism isn't even going to be enough to hold you back from succeeding in IT.
That's a good outlook. There, right? Lee, I see you're nodding your head. Like, how did you know when you made it?
How did I know when I was what now? Needed?
When you made it, or you feel like you really established your credibility in IT or in your career?
I mean, it's just being diverse in different topics, but I was agreeing with if you got the skills and for the job or whatever job or position, then those type of oddballs with racism or prejudice things have a hard time holding you back. So it's just me. That's what I like to preach on, giving the actual skill sets, actually doing it, actually learning the things that you need to know, because it makes it that much easier to be accepted in a field that's not predominantly ran by people of color. So if you got what they're looking for, it's they may have thoughts in the back of their head, or that's why they have HR things such as panel interviews now to try to eliminate some of the one body deciding factors on things. Because at the end of the day, if you have a need that needs to be filled, you'll probably slide through those cracks. But for me personally, I still don't think I would say I made it, quote unquote, but I would say that having the knowledge and, like I said, different backgrounds and domains, I feel confident in my skill set, so I can lead others to the things that they actually need to learn instead of wasting time on irrelevant, maybe technologies or outdated things. So that's where I think I thrive at, is being in different organizations, financial organizations, defense organizations, startup environments, did different things. So I know what these type of different environments look for in different people and different talent skill sets. So that's, I would say, gave me more credibility, quote unquote.
And do you have a target like title, or what does success look like for you in terms of your IT career?
Yeah, that's funny. That was really an interview question before I had. So now we're on a panel interview, but still, success for me, I would say just being able to open the doors up for a lot more other people trying to get into the field. So being able to teach and give the knowledge to people who are interested in making it a career to better themselves or their lives or their positions or outlooks on life currently. So I see that as being successful, as if I can help other people, get to the point they want to be at, especially in this, I actually know about ins and outs. That's all I would need. So it's really not a corporate position, so to speak. It's more so just my personal gain would be to help others, and that'll be what I say made me successful. So
I love that definition, because definitely agency means a lot. You may not have like the role of like officer in your title, but if you have the agency to pull others in, share the resources that can, as you mentioned, move someone along in their position or their career trajectory, then that's still a lot of power that you hold. So thank you
Yeah,
for sharing that.
yeah, that's the end goal of all of this, right? So this whole thing is to try to help people who are, on the outside looking in, or stuck in a position, or hesitant, trying to see what they need to do. How do I navigate this field? It's the whole purpose of this this organization is to help people actually know what they need to do, how to do it, how to
Mhm.
execute on it, and then hopefully they get to the position they want to be at, and they keep the train going along, passing the information down to others. So that's the goal.
Exactly. And one of the major reasons why we're all here tonight, Black IT Academy. And for you, Jay, like, can you describe what drives you versus when you first started in IT?
I think when I first started, it was because I was tired of working in restaurants. And
Like
what
real.
drives me now is, I don't know, I want, like, I have a picture in my head of what I'd like to, like, what I'd like my retirement to be like.
Mm,
So, bunch of bucket list stuff, want my pilot's license, maybe a hangar and some, you know, some land where I can ride four wheelers and shoot guns and stuff like that. So that's what I'm working on, building those skills that will basically basically afford me that, just to
mhm.
afford me that.
Nice. And can you talk a bit more about what your active strategies are in terms of like networking, groups that you're joining, or the types of institutions that you want to get your presence known with more?
Okay, so what I'm currently doing is I'm it's a work in progress, but I'm meeting more people, specifically minorities, joining discourse, joining. Uh, I mean, this is one of the ones. This was the start of my journey. Uh, Trying to talk to people, build some relationships with people that may or may not look like me, look a little closer to me than some others. Because I know at work, I look around, it's like, oh, okay, yeah, just me.
Hmm.
But this is nice. It's nice to see people that may share similar backgrounds with me, uh, having a common interest and doing well for themselves. So
Exactly.
I when I get a chance, I usually ask people that may be further along in their career, what they did to do to get there, and just put that on my list and chip away at it when I can.
Nice. So definitely writing down your goals and being very focused on connecting with individuals. Sounds like it's been a great asset for you. And out of curiosity, has there like who's the person that you go to for the support as you navigated your pivot from working in like the restaurant industry or hospitality into now with IT? Very different personalities, I imagine, that you're working with.
Yeah, I'd say that LinkedIn, just virtual people
Virtual
put their
connection.
lives on the internet, and me personally, I'm not the type, but I mean, yeah, you can find someone with the position that you like, uh, take a scroll through their LinkedIn, and maybe reach out if you feel like they're open to talk.
That's a smart strategy. I can definitely say that's worked out for me. Searching for jobs, instead of going directly to the jobs list, I just search for posts that mention hiring in Arizona or Phoenix and reached
Right.
out to the recruiter and messaged them directly. And thankfully, one person did pull my application, and I got an interview. So I want to open this question up to the panel, just to bring little bring more of a dynamic to our event tonight. But in terms of future technologies, like where are we going versus COBOL, which is an older language, or even just now with like vibe coding, which seems to be all the rage. I'm just curious to hear from the panel. What are your thoughts and like very specific, like, and I'd like to know like what specifically do you feel those who currently work in tech should learn, and also what those who are interested in pivoting to tech, like where should they start today? Like Uncle Lee, if you want to start us off.
Great question. I think it's pretty clear at this point we are moving towards an AI-driven technology sector. At some point, I do expect that we will achieve the singularity relatively soon, possibly within the next. Sure. Possibly within the next 15 years. This will be the point where we do have artificial general intelligence, computers that can think at the actual level of a human, not just spit out answers from how hundreds of thousands of hours of parsing Google searches, but not from trolling the internet and kind of getting a handle on pages that have been written by humans, but to actually comprehend, analyze, and then synthesize new information. So the chatbots nowadays do give a pretty nice appearance of intelligence while not actually really possessing much intelligence. They're basically like databases of human behavior for the most part. They're just regurgitating information that it's found on the internet, just like we could do if we had enough time to trawl through thousands of pages on a particular topic. But no, actual artificial general intelligence, where computers are thinking at the equivalent level of an adult human. So at that point, all of the, a lot of, if not all, of the IT work is going to be kind of prompt-driven sort of work. There's no need to pay a guy like me a few $100,000 when you can just talk to
a chat.
Well, you pull up your little chat and describe what you want and have it spit it out in a couple of hours. So on the path to that end state, though, of course, prompting is going to be huge. The natural language parsing and interfaces we have now can't catch a lot of nuances or fill in a lot of blanks. So prompt engineering is going to be a very useful skill, probably for the next at least 6-7 years. So yeah, that's one of the bigger fields, I would say.
Anything related to AI?
Yeah. Aside from that, service and human interface sort of roles will be good. Project management sort of things, even Scrum mastering, jobs along those lines, where you're taking non-technical specifications and still translating them into technical work. Those will be useful at least for the next few years as well. It'll be a while before computers are skilled enough to really break down large projects. So yeah, things along that nature. Now, also offensive cybersecurity.
Oh yes,
those guys are doing the sort of work that computers probably aren't going to be great at, because a lot of that type of work is not really well documented, like general coding or something like that. So the fewer documents that you're able to find on how a particular job is carried out, the more effective that job will be at not being replaced by AI.
Hmm.
So yeah, offensive cybersecurity is going to be fairly strong for a good while. Even after probably artificial general intelligence is reached, offensive cybersecurity is still probably going to be a useful role. We'll actually still keep humans doing those kind of jobs, even when AI are as smart as humans, just because it's quite a rare skill. So it's probably going to still be useful. So I'd say rolls along those lines.
Mhm.
Now, very low level grunt level kind of work, very junior software coding, junior database administration. If your job is only to spin up tables in a database, you should definitely start brushing up on new skills and look to transition towards one of the more AI proof jobs. If your job is to only write, some for loops in code in Python or something, you
Mhm.
should look to definitely, skilling up and pushing to more towards senior level type of work. So, yeah, there's going to be a revolution, and IT is going to be impacted heavily by AI,
Mhm.
but there are still places for people to fit.
Thank you for sharing that. And like just from someone like myself who doesn't have a traditional tech background, I always saw like cybersecurity would always be needed because as technologies change, there's always going to be something to capture those bad actors and to be able to reverse engineer and just be able to patch anything that is vulnerable.
Defensive cybersecurity is a fairly well documented area of IT. So, not so much there, but if you're actually counter hacking people,
Hmm.
that's far less documented stuff. Half of it probably illegal. So,
Got it.
um, so yeah. But defensive cybersecurity, yeah. If all you're doing is writing firewall rules or looking through logs, dumping logs, searching logs, then yeah, you may want to brush up on other skills as well, or transition to the offensive side.
Offensive side. Okay. Thank you for sharing that. I have to
Sure.
definitely do that for myself as well. And for you, Lee, like, do you believe will be achieved? And also for you, I'm curious to know, how do we define intelligence? Because that's one thing that's kind of come up in a lot of the podcasts I listen to, is that they're, from more philosophical side, we don't have an idea or like strong definition of what human intelligence is.
It's a great question. One of the founders of computer science, Alan Turing,
Yep.
um, decided to not try to define intelligence, but to quantify intelligence by a computer that can fool reasonable human beings into believing that it is intelligent, uh, probably has some level of intelligence. Although nowadays with tools like ChatGPT, we're seeing some holes in that theory and that definition,
Yeah.
since those chatbots are not truly intelligent. They aren't really synthesizing new ideas. They're just regurgitating a summary of ideas that they've already found across the internet. Um, but yeah, it's a good question. There was an old saying about like pornography. It's I can't define what crosses the line of porn, but I know it when I see it. So
Yeah.
I think that's kind of how we'll be treating intelligence. We
Hmm.
know it when we see it. Unfortunately, though, it's going to be I say, an intimidating, possibly scary time, just because I've seen on a small scale what happens with super intelligent computer programs. In the small area of chess and chess bots, the development from back in 1998 when they couldn't play super well to then beating the best human player at the time, and to now, where a room full of the top players of chess players of today can't even explain why a chess computer is making the moves that it's making, but they know that it would crush every one of them in that room. So humans are not even able to understand an entity that is more intelligent than themselves. We can't even understand their motivations. We can't even guess at why they're doing the things they're doing. So to me, that's a scary time. We're going to end up in Terminator is my guess, but I'll keep that one. I'll keep the conversation away from that.
Exactly, because if anything, I would want it to not be sentient and realize that it's basically enslaved to humans, and then will try to like take us out.
Right, especially given the recent tests of AI where they've tried to stop themselves from being killed or whatever.
Like Claude, I think that was a report.
Yeah. Like it tried to blackmail.
backing itself up.
Yep.
Well, one of them tried to blackmail the dev team leader, and then one of them learned to lie by itself. So yeah, we're already in some interesting times.
That's so true. And for you, Lee, like, what are your thoughts on AGI and where we're going next with tech?
Simple word is overhyped, oversold, and overpromised. All of those things because, so it's an interesting guy I follow, Malware Tech. He's the one known for stopping the WannaCry virus back a few years ago. But anyway, so a lot of companies like to measure productivity based on what AI produces as far as output. We're having so much more productivity, but what you really come to find out is a lot of things that they call AI slop is being produced, and you have to go back and fix all the mistakes. So this is why I would never tell people to not learn how to actually look at what you're looking for. Coding, especially, if you're going to rely on it for scripts and coding, it loves to bring up things that do not exist as far as functions and things of those natures. So where you have no debugging skills whatsoever, then you're relying on the code from AI to be absolutely right, which is what companies is naming as productivity, which is oversold and a dream sold to a lot of organizations, and how we can replace everybody's job, maybe very low level stuff, things that requires human interaction, as far as actually understanding data from a technology standpoint, such as like talk about the defensive cyber operations people who have to look at logs. But as we know now, because I see it now in different SOC organizations, people that have their security operations centers integrated with AI, still a lot of rings and false positives on, hey, is this really a critical incident or something that is falsely ringing because then the administrator ran a command that's known to be something needed in the environment, right? So you still have to have that human insight into making those type of decisions, or you rely on AI to make them, and you get into a non-technical person's hands who start freaking out because they don't know how to dissect those types of data points coming at them. So I would still tell people, hey, learn the fundamentals, right? I would still say learn the things that's an A+, learn networking, learn the security, everything basic wise, programming basics, etc. So you build upon those things, so when these next technologies come around, like AI, like we're in right now, we can actually do a real cost return on investment analysis of, hey, is this really producing what I needed to for my team? Is it actually replacing competent people, or what is this giving me, right, that I can work with? And a lot of times when you sit down and look at it, a lot of the AI output is things that needs human validation, that has to have changes. Of course, it gives you a good starting point, but even documentation things, it's just not all the way there yet. Will it get to that point? I think so, but at that standpoint, you need more resources, more money, more uh, more data science as with AI is built off of data science and algorithms. All of those things that feed into its so-called intelligence point, right? Uh, so what this means, all in summary, is hey, learn the foundation, learn the foundations. Don't let any of this stuff scare you all, because a good, solid, fundamental person who can build upon those skills will always still be needed, uh, because they can make those real intelligent decisions for as business operations, security things, etc. Right. So that's just my standpoint of it right now.
No, that totally makes sense. And just seeing how there's been some reversals with integrating AI instead of humans, and also just like the customer service that lacks. I personally feel, because, under capitalism, everything is profit driven. And if customers become frustrated with the responses from AI chatbots, then they're going to stop using that product or switch to another service. So that is what will get the attention of a lot of these companies, once they realize, like, no, these agents aren't actually doing what you expected and are learning the hard way. And it's also very expensive, as you mentioned. Also thinking of Replit, which their AI deleted their database.
Yeah, I was going to touch on when I'm doing some AI testing, far as um, trying to go beyond the basic prompt injection types of vulnerabilities, but the permissions on what a lot of people, when they deploy AI, has read and write access to databases, important financial documents, emails. So if you have those AIs integrated with all these services and the AI is corrupted, taken over, uh,
Mm,
abused in the back end, as far as what is allowed to do, and the person who's testing it is able to get the AI to use it as a C2 channel, because it still reaches out to the internet. So if you
mhm.
have this AI and trust it in your environment to reach out to get updates, you can use this as now a beta exfil channel, right? You can use it to get IP or intellectual property from companies, exfil from the company. You can use it, since it's trusted in the environment nowadays. You can basically use it to deploy ransomware if you wanted to, right? So those are the things I am testing with AI now,
That's
to
cool.
actually expose the attack surface that it introduces to environments, so people can be aware of the risks that they are inherently taking when they are saying we're just moving everything towards AI. So okay, sounds great, right? So let's show you what this new business model of yours does, if it's get compromised. So,
Right. And that also kind of leads me to you, Jay, in terms of, as someone that's newer to tech, um, like, how did you, like, what were some of your learning lessons, and where do you see technology going in the future, especially in regards to AGI?
Okay, so some of my learning lessons, I'd say don't volunteer for too much, and definitely don't be don't get it done fast either. Because
Greater rewards.
yeah. Like my CIO will call me or email me directly like, hey, this came up. Can you do it? And he knows the answer is probably yes, but then it's like, I have to put the stuff I'm already working on the backlog, and then, yeah,
Boundaries.
yeah, definitely,
Yeah,
definitely.
you sure
And then
about
what was the
all that?
second part?
Seems
um,
like that's the way to get noticed to move.
Yeah, it worked. It worked. It definitely worked for me, because I started at basically a help desk at my current company,
hmm,
and now uh, I'm right under the systems engineer. So it worked. Like, I take on a lot of his projects, but I don't know. Like, I've got a big Jira board. There's a lot of stuff on there, but keeps me entertained. I've always got something to do.
hmm. And for you,
Was-
was there something else you wanted to chime in on? Oh, sorry, Jay.
No, I was just
Oh, yeah.
asking about the second part of the question.
Where do you see technology going in the future, especially AI? I personally feel it may be as ubiquitous as electricity and water. Some people think it's overhyped in terms of like its actual uses, and even think that it won't be around in the next 5 years. So I'm just curious to know about your thoughts on it and how it's going to impact the world.
I mean, I'm sure it's going to be around. It's a great tool. It processes things a lot faster than humans, but I think it'll just be a tool. As far as I know, because when I use it, like if it's like it'll start off a script or an email, but it still has those things that can be definitely tweaked. You can tell this AI is, it's not taking anyone's job. It's kind of just adding to your job, adding basically more capabilities for you as far as your job goes.
I've heard the term like hollowing out roles. I definitely foresee that in higher ed. As someone that used to be an academic advisor, I can see students going to a chat bot to ask them about their degree requirements. But then, as far as like that human engagement element, that will require like, additional services and experiences for that more traditional college experience, given the current rates of tuition at so many of the schools in the U.S. at least.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. For now, in the next 5 years, probably AI isn't going to be able to do the highly complex roles in IT. I just think it'll be a vastly different story within probably 10 to 15 years, though.
I can see that.
Yeah. Well, thank you everyone for the round of questions I had. I'm now going to transition to questions from the audience. And it looks like the first one that we lightly touched on with everyone, but to be more specific, a question from Scientific. What do each of you consider your dream job in tech? And if it doesn't currently exist, what would it look like? Because sometimes you got to create your own jobs.
A dream job? Well, it would be some sort of experimenting with AI while just being funded by some billionaire, I don't know, some sugar mama that's just throwing billions of dollars at me or something. I don't know. But yeah, being able to do something like that would be amazing. As far as actual roles that would reasonably exist, kind of where I'm at now with dev team leadership, architecting. That's kind of always was the dream when I was starting out, and kind of reached that level. At this point, it's kind of downhill from the dream. I'd have to move into management or something like that to kind of progress upwards, kind of from where I'm at now. So I don't know. It's kind of downhill, really.
And for you, Lee?
I would say what I'm doing on the side, mostly just getting more into doing reverse engineering on operating systems, Windows, Mac, Linux, creating, basically having an R&D type of team, maybe like a research and development of coming up with new zero-day exploits for systems is what I would probably say would be a role that would be a dream role to be funded, all the budget in the world to just do those activities all day and then be funded to go to different community events or these different networking events to talk about these different exploits that's been developed by our R&D team, what they are capable of doing in a sense of how do you all's organization have security practices in place to defend against these types of things, or how do you mitigate these types of vulnerabilities, right? So it's basically more of being a conversation starter or a critical thinking type of position in security, to where the things that the compliance frameworks do not cover for you is mostly what I would say would be my dream job, just to just have all day to focus on that type of work, and just getting people out of the comfortability of just relying on tools and frameworks to do the job for them. And now it's going to be AI. So you can start coming up with proofs of concepts as to why that's not enough to rely on. Yeah, now companies will have more incentive to actually take security teams and IT teams and things like that more seriously. Start trying to limit the budget to these teams, while the CEO gets about a new yacht every year. Actually now start to put more into the security of your organization, because at the end, companies want to make money. They're not going to make money for too long if you keep getting breached and eventually shut down, right? So a long haul type of output is we're secure now, so we can keep doing business later, and we get more trust that way from people. We can always confidently say we never had a major breach and major data loss of people's private information. Not a lot of companies, especially in the US, can say that these days. So yeah, that's where I want to be at.
Thank you. Sounds like possibly even being funded through like a think tank or university. Sounds like a potential spot for you.
Yes, that's something that's allowed me to just to be free in my mind to just come up with different things and make proofs of concepts all day and present on those and show like the impact, showing impact. I think that's one of the biggest things in business.
Exactly. And for you, Jay, do you have a dream job or a role that may not exist yet that you see for yourself?
I'm not sure what the title is, but basically it'd be consulting businesses to fill in gaps in their processes, maybe making things more efficient, or basically kind of what I've been doing is basically what I've been doing. Finding things that they might have access to but aren't currently utilizing to the best of their ability. What would that be? What would that be?
Like like technology consultants, like solutions, being that problem solver.
Yeah, that works for me, because I can just keep my blade sharp, keep learning, and put my hands in pretty much any jar.
Solutions architect.
Okay, yeah, I'll take that. I'll definitely take that one.
I'm also going to take that too. Amen. So I see that there's a good question. Someone asked, how long would it take for someone in this economy to transition into the fields? I think that's also really relative from where that person is coming and their transfer skills, but I'm just curious to hear from the panel on your thoughts. And again, this is a very difficult economy we're going through in terms of
the Trump tariff economy. Ooh. Jesus.
Yes.
For someone that's starting at zero, in a normal times, I would say 18 to 24 months is probably slightly optimistic, but feasible. I don't think someone starting from zero today would necessarily face the same environment that we have today. But if you're at that point now where you've already done the legwork, you've got the knowledge, ready to start looking for that first tech job. It's going to take quite some time. I know people who have bachelors who have been applying for over a year. It's just a really tough environment now, mostly from what I'm understanding that the tariffs have impacted corporations trying to make their decisions on whether they're going to be able to grow or not for the next year or so. And with the reassessment of probable U.S. economic growth, a lot of companies have scaled back for the time being. But with that aside, if we're in more normal times, we still will have to deal with companies experimenting with AI.
Mhm.
So if someone's starting from zero, I'd say maybe the challenges of competing with AI could potentially add another 6 to 9 months to that sort of from zero to getting that first internship, junior level role. So yeah, somewhere around, I guess, 24 to 30 months, starting from zero. If you're trying to apply now, it's not great. If you have no IT experience and you're trying to apply now, it's probably not great. You probably should lean on your business networks to do you some favors, get you in, or start networking and buddy up with someone that's in HR or something. I mean, definitely put in the work though. Put in the applications. You're gonna probably need to hit 300, 400 applications, but don't let that discourage you. Getting into IT was always tough. Even when I tried to get in, I had to work free for 2 years. So, put in the work, put in those applications, and don't let the general gatekeeping at the very low entry level, don't let it deter you. Just that there are additional challenges in this year that may have nothing to do with your level of skill, and there are just fewer opportunities now. It used to be that if I wanted, I could pick up a new contract. I could have interviews with companies the next day, literally. If I opened my emails and looked at some opportunities out there, I could get on a video call with whoever, Dell, Capital One, whoever, have an interview that next day and have signed offers within a week. So
Wow. And this is like in government tech or gov tech.
no, this is just outside of government. Not having a degree, I generally don't qualify for government jobs. They're one of the few employers that are very strict about the educational requirements. So yeah, government jobs generally I won't qualify for. But they're also a fairly small slice of all the IT work out there. So it hasn't been a hindrance that I can't get into the government roles. But yeah, just keep plugging at it. Hopefully they'll figure out the tariff crap by next year and get that stabilized. The problem is that it keeps changing.
Right.
So hopefully that'll actually stabilize and companies will be able to make their decisions within possibly by the end of the year. So I don't know. 2025 might kind of be gotta be a wash, but definitely keep putting in the applications though. People are hiring. So you may get one of those roles. There are a lot less roles than there used to be. That doesn't mean there aren't any though. So in my current team, like 4 people just got hired full time. So
okay, y'all still hiring?
Don't think they are, but yeah. So being a contractor though, I need to start looking for some other roles if they got 4 new full-time guys.
Full-time benefits.
Well, I mean, if they get not many full-time folks, they're not going to need as many contractors.
Yeah.
That's true.
So yeah, I'm going to be out here trying to lock down more contracts as well. But yeah, 2025 is a tough year. 2024 wasn't great either. This started around end end of 2023 where I noticed a significant decline in the number of leads that I would get in my email, phone calls. Like on a normal day before the slowdown, I would get probably at least 20 emails a day per
Wow.
day.
Wow.
Probably 3 or 4 calls per week from recruiters looking to fill in some IT work. So
Wow.
yeah, when calls started drying up, I wasn't
That's how you knew.
necessarily concerned because I was already working a few contracts anyways. So yeah, but I did notice that, well, darn, it's getting a little dry out here. So
Things are slowing down.
yeah, end of 2023, things kind of started slowing down. But yeah, now with the tariff stuff, yeah,
Each impact.
it's pretty
projections.
bad this particular month and the last couple of months. So, but keep being persistent. That's all I can tell you.
Yes, persistency is key, and definitely upskilling. And related to your response, Unc, I want to like try to combine some of our questions. I know we only have about like 10, 15 minutes left, but for the panel, I'm just going to open this up. What are the best certs to acquire for IT help desk, IT support, especially for someone that is maybe coming out of high school or Gen Z? Again, a lot of like fears about AI replacing entry level jobs. Like, what are the specific, like, what are the tangibles that companies are looking for to at least even get an interview?
Well, I'd say I would say like one of the biggest things I see now, since we do a lot of mock interviews and things, is like I said from the beginning, is fundamentals, right? Fundamentals is gonna outweigh any cert that you can get, but of course, everybody would say the basic fundamental cert is Security Plus. While that may be true, it teaches you a lot of high level things that are mile long and an inch deep type of concepts. But it's very important to show how you have used certain skills that transition to these tech support roles. I find those people have shortened their time to transition into the field of tech, right? So that's going back into the last question of how long will it take. It depends on you as a person and your opportunities as presented. If you can show how your skills projects are relevant to these roles that you're applying to, and you can confidently go in and ask or answer certain questions in detail, more than just high level, like actually being able to troubleshoot things, knowing Active Directory, knowing how basic networking functions work, how to identify issues at a networking level, hardware level. This is going into the OSI model things, where a lot of people, know the definition, know the acronym that they like to say, learn for the OSI model, but when you are presented with a problem, you have to actually talk to it, right? So, yeah, Sec Plus in the short term. I also advocate for CCNA, just as networking, and a really special one I like. I haven't taken it, but I've taken the information, is the Red Hat Certified System Administrator for Linux systems. That will get you ahead real quickly, because a lot of people try to avoid learning Linux for some odd reason. I don't know why, but learning that in a detailed manner will definitely shorten your time to landing a support or administrator role dealing with Linux systems or something of that nature. So,
Yeah, agree. To touch back on that though, that ramp up period from zero does depend heavily on what fields you start studying. There are fields that are more amenable to entry level into IT, and some that are a lot harder. My typical rant is about cybersecurity. Cybersecurity is generally not an entry level role. There are all these companies out here selling all this cybersecurity, all these classes and whatnot, but yeah, it's generally not an entry level role. There are plenty of open positions in cybersecurity, but they're generally looking for someone who's already been in IT for a few years already. It's more of a mid-level, senior level type of role. So yeah, it definitely depends on what area you dedicate your focus on. Programming's generally good. Database data analysis is generally good. A front end, if you have an artistic talent, if you can get into UI, UX, and design, that's always good. Um, and then there is help desk. It's generally proven to be a reliable entry method into tech, but it does pay a lot less than the others. So you'd want to transition out as soon as you could. But yeah, if you want to study, Security Plus, get into help desk, do that for a year and a half, and then try to transition out. Definitely, that would be a viable career path.
Thank you for sharing. Oh, go ahead, Jay.
I'm sorry. I'm gonna give a third vote for Security Plus. I feel like that, like the overall knowledge carries further. Like you use it more than you would use the stuff on the A plus or anything like that. You should learn like some of the stuff that's on A plus, like Active Directory, some networking stuff and things of that nature. And personally, I think the Google IT, like the certificate's not worth much, but the class is definitely helpful. It puts your hands on some labs. Like I still my first interaction with Linux was through that, and that was I don't know how many years ago. And I think the skills help the most, but I would not recommend CCNA because that's there's a few jobs that will pass you up. Like if you're applying for help desk, more than likely it just might deter them from looking at you as a candidate. Because what I've been hearing is the assumption is you'll leave as soon as a better opportunity comes. That's basically what they said about me. They thought that was their reservation, but it didn't happen that way. They just promoted me to where I needed to be, and yeah, so we're good.
There you go. We saw that you definitely have the skills and assets that they were looking for to keep you in. And again, apologies if my question is like very basic, but as someone that is pivoting from like higher ed and learning about IT and cybersecurity, one thing I've noticed is that employers look for portfolios. They want to see a demonstration of your work. Can you, as the panelists, give examples how you've been able to demonstrate that? Or if you have not had to do that, what are your recommendations for those who are seeking jobs? Because certs are one thing, but I also know, like, for example, I created my own repo in GitHub just to demonstrate more things that I'm building.
So you're asking, how do you show off that you know how to do the work?
Yes. Portfolios.
I mean, yeah, those I would definitely say are important, but in my experience, it's mostly if you have a convincing interview of going in depth on topics. That's usually what they are looking for to get you through the door. It's not been one time I had to screen share and show my GitHub, but it's there just in case that day ever comes. But you can always talk about it in the interview, like, hey, we built this project, a repo, blah, blah, blah. You can post it on your resume. They may take a look at it, but mostly they want to see if those skills that you've done can you answer their questions on their specific use cases, problems that they may be having. Me personally, I'm at the point of now, I was over interviews. I'm at the point to where I like companies who say, hey, these are some targets, hack them and let us know, get a write-up on them. Great, just send me the target and we can talk later. right? So yeah, I prefer performance-based interviews where you actually have to do something to show that you can do it, right? Rather than a trick question type of interview where it's like a lot of people say like it's felt like an exam almost. Um, yeah, I just do. I'm a doer, right? So that's just me.
Nice. So it was like just get straight to the point, and they just want to
Yeah,
see.
why are we beating around the bush, man? What are we doing? Like, let's get it right. So that's me. I like to just get straight into it and talk about accomplishments. And if you have a performance-based interview, I like that better, especially if it's around either incident response or penetration testing is more what I focus on. So if you have those type of performance-based interviews, then that's great. So we can start wasting time and just show.
There you go. Well, thank you for explaining that. Jay, was there
Yeah.
anything that you wanted to add with that?
Personally, I've had a few performance-based interviews, and I definitely prefer that to the million rounds they want to take you through and stuff like that. They had me sit down and do a whole bunch of different areas, and yeah, after that, I had my final interview like the same day,
Oh,
and yeah, they said I was overqualified for the position I was applying for. So
oh.
they said we'll keep your information if a like a network engineering position pops up, but yeah, they said I get bored.
Hmm. So it's getting hands-on in those tasks, which is very different again, coming from uh, at least like student services and much more heavy on the human element. But still, at the end of the day, you need to be able to articulate your thought process when you are solving problems and describing challenges that you had in the past. So I would say that
Right.
would be applicable as a baseline for anyone that's going for interviews in tech or whichever domain or field that everyone is going for. Lee, we had a specific question for you in terms of your transition from the military. Can you describe some of the assets that helped you transition from the military? I know we spoke a little bit about it before, but in addition to that, they would like to. The person asks or states like they understand that SkillBridge is an asset that helps out, but was it still difficult to understand how to be a civilian and act in that environment? If so,
Uh,
could you expand on that?
well, me personally, no, because I joined later. Like I joined military after I did 4 years of college and had several jobs, so I already was accustomed to working civilian life jobs. I didn't do Skill Bridge because I found out about it a little too late before separation. But I think the hardest thing is just knowing where all the resources at. I think they're trying to do better with that upon separation, as far as you got GI Bill for schooling.
Hmm.
They get certain preferences for different government jobs with the veteran preference based on your uh, VA disability rating and things like that. Just understanding those topics, but from a corporate perspective, I mean, if you've been in the military doing a administrative desk job, it's mostly the same. It's just now it's not as many SOPs and procedures in place because that's going to be a lot of the interview questions you get. Like, hey, how do you navigate environments where there's not all of this documentation, there's not all of these processes and procedures in place like you're used to. So they like to give that wrench for a question in the interviews to see if you can adapt to an environment where you're not going to be told what to do all the time and how to do it. Because that's
Mm,
jobs now where you have to, especially in tech, I would say, especially tech, where you have to figure things out, right? You have to analyze situations, especially if you're a security analyst or even help desk person. Everything is not always documented. So it's now for you to use those critical thinking skills to make the best judgment and decision making, which is why they have a lot of open-ended questions for as how do you go about doing this, right? It's no right or wrong. It's about your thought process. So the hardest part in all is just being able to, if you haven't been in that position before, been able to think on your own. So if you've been a person straight out of high school, did military, 6-10 years, that's all you know. It may be a little difficult for you to adjust to being able to get used to not having somebody always tell you what to do. There's no scheduled breaks. Like a lot of higher end jobs, you don't have scheduled breaks and scheduled times to go to lunch. You just find time in your day to go make that stuff happen, right? So that's the hardest part, I believe, just adjusting to being a free thinker. Just be a free thinker, right? That's it.
That definitely resonates coming out of college as well as or going into college, like not having that set structure of a schedule. It's like, well, no, I yes, go to class, but in terms of how I manage my time and make use of it, it's on me at the end of the day. So that's, relatable to anyone pursuing either college, certs, or going directly into the workforce.
Yeah.
I know we're a little bit over time, but I just want to say a huge thank you to Marie. I know
Let's
you have
talk about it. Let's talk about. Hey, team. Sorry, Corinne, but phenomenal job to Marie for the introduction. She's one of our talented members in admin. She also has her own nonprofit. There's a lot of things that she's doing in her local community. I won't steal her thunder, but I just wanted to talk a little bit of nonsense about how amazing she is and how appreciative we are to have her at the Black IT Academy. Her LinkedIn information is in the chat if you want to connect with her directly, see what she's got going on. But Marie, I won't speak for you, ma'am. Go ahead.
Yeah.
Thank you for the kind words. I truly appreciate it. I'm always looking to give back to my community, so I appreciate that shout out. I just want to thank you guys for allowing me to do the intro for tonight's session, and everyone that participated with the questions. You guys kept those questions going. And our panelists, all those great answers, the feedback that you guys are able to pour into the community to get those answers to their questions. So I really appreciate the opportunity that we have in just presenting this to everyone and what we're doing together collectively. I'm super excited just to be a part of the community. So I just consider it as something that I want to do and I'm supposed to do, honestly. So with that being said, I do have to jump. I don't mean to cut the session short. You guys close it out, but I just wanted to give back and say thank you guys for having me. And you will see me around, okay?
Thank you so much, Marie.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Have a good night. JT, was there anything else that you wanted to add before I go to what looks like will probably be our final question of the night?
I'll get you cleaning the floors, man. You got it.
Thank you. So I know we're a little bit over time, but it's been great seeing the engagement in the chat, all the great questions. It definitely shows me that, with these questions, there's a large demand for guidance and just understanding, okay, what can I do today? What is needed to get my foot in the door, especially if someone is pivoting to tech or just wanting to make even a lateral move and needs to upskill. So my final question for tonight for each of our panelists, what is one thing that you recommend for everyone to do today to level up in tech or to take their next step in their tech journey?
Join the Black IT Academy Discord.
Yeah.
Yes.
but no,
That's a good one.
We are building this community just to make prepare people who want to get into tech and help further people who have already been in tech and are looking to get over a hump. So the community is catered specifically for that. If you're looking for one thing you could do today to boost your success in IT, that'd be the one.
Yeah, definitely took my answer because it's already too many resources there, right? You got so many resources, got so many PDLs, people with the same search that you're trying to get, how to pass it.
And it's all free.
It's all
free. It's all free to do hands-on learning sessions. We got mock interviews. You can practice your interview skills. We got people who answer all the questions you may have that's not able to get caught in this one session here. So it's all there. It's just literally just all you gotta do is join and just skim through, and you'll probably have your own answer before you get to say anything, right? So that's it.
As far as if you're looking for skills that'll help you universally applicable one would be, like was mentioned earlier, I think with Lee, pick up Linux Bash scripting, learn the typical Linux tools, top, even stuff like DD, Schmod, all that stuff. That's generally going to be universally useful in almost every area of IT, except maybe UX, UI. But aside from that, you're probably more valuable knowing Linux than not.
Hey, quick side note. It's another thing I said recently. Getting into tech involves doing tech, whether it's software development, help desk, cybersecurity, project management, even, right? It's a lot of things or themes, I say themes going around about not being technical. Hey, as we see the job market is changing, having more skills than not, or trying to avoid certain skill sets just because does not really help you. You don't have to be a master at nothing really. Just get a fundamental foundation that you can build upon. Because the best project managers I talk to have some technical background, so they can speak to these technical topics, even though they're not doing it. They actually understand what engineers are saying when they make their project management and budgeting decisions. So that's it. Like, it's tech. Don't try to avoid doing tech. If you're trying to get into tech, it's kind of an oxymoron. So, yeah.
And it's always changing. You always have to learn something new, especially dealing with Microsoft, because Microsoft loves to throw a monkey wrench into your plans. So read them articles, try to do something. Just have one project in mind and work through those speed bumps.
Yeah.
That's major, especially with Microsoft. Microsoft is a huge market share. So, and they have so many materials online for free. Join their community, as well as Black IT Academy. But yes, just even think about myself trying to become a consultant with Microsoft Enterprise tools. There's just so much there. So start with something, and like Jay said, get hands-on and start doing things. But thank you all so much tonight for just joining. Again, like there's just so many questions I could ask. I see that we still have a few more questions from the audience that I would like to save for our next event and even for the Discord. So now with that, I'd like to hand it over to my colleague, Jason, for our closing remarks.
What's going on, everyone? Hello. Man, I see we got Team Linux out here. I'm out here representing Cisco Network. In the Army, we got in the Signal Battalion, we have a saying: you can talk about us, but you damn sure can't talk without us. And you know what? That's what network is. You can do all that server application all you want to, but if you wanted to talk to something, you got to know some network. And I know some Linux wizards that, hey, is this port blocked in a firewall? Are you listening for it on your server? So, I mean, it's once again, it's all good fun. There are like fundamental technologies, right? So they're just it doesn't hurt to get really good in any of those disciplines, right? Because you'll get a bigger picture of how all this stuff runs. So there was great gems that was dropped out today. We have a wonderful panel. Okay, we go ahead and just clap it up one time for our panel today. Marie, Corinne, Unc, Jarrell, Lee. I mean, you guys killed it.
Gotta get that clapping thing going in the stream.
Get some reaction.
The sound effect.
Yeah, we gonna work on our audio switchboard. We got that.
DJ in the background. Man.
I want the Jamaican sound horn. I want the I need one of those.
Yeah, man.
But thanks for everyone for your time. Thanks for hanging out with Black IT Academy. We're building something special here. Wonderful community. If you want to come out and learn some stuff, come out. If you want to come out and network and have a place and a platform to be able to help out others in our community, we got room for you. So we definitely look forward to you guys tuning in, telling your friends, spreading the word, and if we're going to be the platform to to be that safe space, be that place for us, for our people to come in and really talk tech, help each other out, and really kind of expand our footprint in this industry. So with that being said, we do have a an upcoming series on September 6th. We have a series called About That Cipher, which is our cybersecurity webinar series. So if you want to hear about security concepts and kind of some things that are going on in the industry, and you want to learn something, come on. We'll be here at 10:30 Central. Same place. We'll be streaming live on Twitch and YouTube. Marie will be out there. She'll be back on Saturday along with Lee and myself, and we'll have a special guest speaker in Unk to come out and talk about some things. So looking forward to seeing you guys out there. I hope you guys had a great time, and we'll see you next time.
Yo.
Thank you, everyone.